Welcome back to the podcast and to our very special episode today, where I'm going to be sharing with you some strategies that you can use in your one-on-one client work and in your group work, as well as strategies that you can use with yourself in order to meet this moment in history and to help clients reach appropriate goals and show up more for themselves during these difficult times. As a people and a culture, we're holding a lot right now. There are multiple ongoing wars around the world. There are hurricanes, tornadoes, and weather disasters that are devastating. There's stressful news cycles. And at least here in the United States, there's also a political culture that can sometimes feel pretty stressful. And really, all of that is just scratching the surface of how much each of us and each of our clients are holding at this moment in time. And whether we've realized it or not, we've all been holding a lot for at least the last number of years. Since COVID first emerged, much of the world has been on high alert in one way or another, pretty much nonstop, all the time. And it's been nearly 5 years now since all of this began. Ongoing crisis for such a sustained amount of time, whether the crisis touches us directly or not, and no matter how evolved we are or what our attitude or our mindset is. But the ongoing crisis for a sustained amount of time is going to take its toll no matter what. It can show up as anxiety, extreme fatigue, sleeplessness, impatience, grief, fear, bad decision making, wanting to isolate, wanting to zone out, working more than we should be, and so much more. It's so important to not only take care of ourselves as best as we can through these difficult times, but also to take care of each other. And as coaches and practitioners, it's also so important to hold our clients with special care through difficult times. Whether the difficult time is a collective experience or whether it's more personal, like a personal illness or a loss. All of this is relevant. This idea that it's important for us as coaches and practitioners to hold our clients with special care through difficult times. All of that is relevant no matter what kind of work that you do, no matter what kind of results you help your clients achieve. Because even if the subject matter of your work doesn't directly have to do with your clients' personal lives, as we know, the personal always impacts everything else. And your client's state of mind, the state of their nervous system, and how they're feeling will make its way into your working containers together, no matter what you're working on, right? We don't ever want to underestimate the humanness of our clients. And there are a lot of coaches and practitioners out there who struggle when their clients are going through tough times and who don't quite know how to meet the difficult moment. Now, of course, there are definitely some things that are out of our scope as coaches, and we can't always on our own support any client through any tough time. But that being said, there is a lot that we can do in many situations. And what we can do can make such a big difference for our clients, for how they feel, for how they move through the world, and for their ability to reach the goals that they've hired for and to reach those goals in right pace and in right timing. Most coach trainings don't really cover any of this, but it's so, so important. Why? Which is why in the Sacred Depths Transformational Practitioner certification, you get thoroughly trained on how to support your clients no matter what season they find themselves in. Whether it's a season of growth, and action and activity, or whether it's a season of slowing down or managing through difficult times. All of this is why I'm really happy to be sharing today, not a training. We can't do a training through the podcast. You'll need to join us in Sacred Depths for that. But I'm happy to be sharing today some powerful concepts for you to consider so that you can get started with all of this. And I've cherry picked just a few of the concepts from Sacred Depths to help you and help yourself and help your clients get through these times. So, the first concept or idea that I want you to consider is this: tend to your own emotions and body and nervous system. The best and only way that we can help our clients is if we, as transformational practitioners, are in a grounded and well taken care of place, both physically and emotionally. As we learn in many, many different ways in Sacred Depths, and you'll hear me say this so many times in the program, energy follows energy. One of the things that energy follows energy means is that if you, as the coach, aren't grounded, you're likely going to bring that ungrounded energy into the session with your client, and your client is going to feel it in one way or another. Or if you're anxious, same thing. Or if you're feeling distracted, same thing. You're likely to bring that energy of distraction into the session with your client, and then they're going to feel it in one way or another. Energy follows energy. But if you come into the session feeling well taken care of, feeling grounded, even if chaos is happening in the world, then you're going to bring that energy into the container. And that's going to make an impact on your client. Energy follows energy, right? No matter what subject matter you're working on with a client or a group in any given session, how you show up impacts your clients. Co-regulation is happening in the client and group container all the time. And so if you are coming in regulated, your clients are more likely to feel regulated in the container with you. That old saying about putting your oxygen mask on first on a plane before helping anyone else with their oxygen mask is maybe overused a bit, but I will tell you, it is also very relevant to coaching and to being with clients. It's so important, as I said, for this first principle or strategy to tend to your own emotions, body, and nervous system first. So, there's a lot that goes into you being able to do this. And I'm sure that many of the listeners of this podcast, you have your own ways. Just share a couple of tips on this right now, different things that you can do that will really help you tend to your own emotions and come into sessions regulated. Number one, during difficult times, allow yourself to feel all of the feelings, right? Make space outside of session time for your own emotions and for you. Work with your fears as they come up. Make sure during difficult times and also during not difficult times that you're getting rest, that you're eating well, that you're drinking enough, right? Our bodies are our containers. And the better that we take care of our bodies, the better the environment for our energy and for our nervous systems. Okay. So strengthen your own container so that you can hold a strong container for your clients. Okay, here's the next piece that I want you to consider as you think about helping yourself, your clients through difficult times. Honor exactly where your clients are and don't bypass. So, this is another biggie, and there is a lot to this one. We look at this a lot in Sacred Depths. So, you might not be feeling, for example, fear or anger or sorrow or frustration when a difficult thing happens in the world. But that being said, it's very likely that some of your clients are going to be feeling a lot. And in those moments, even if you're not feeling that fear or that anger or that sorrow or whatever it is, if there is any urge inside of you to make your clients feel better by saying, oh, it's not that bad, or, I think things are already turning around and looking better. Or if there's any urge inside of you to say things like, Spirit has our back, my suggestion is to catch yourself and to move away from those urges. Those urges are more about you feeling better than your clients feeling better. So when we don't honor exactly where our clients are, and when we don't make space for what they're feeling and allow what they're feeling to be valid, then we are, in essence, bypassing our clients. And the moment that we bypass our clients, the moment that we stop to deeply honor and make space for exactly where our client is at and exactly what they're feeling, is the moment that we are no longer able to really support them. So we want to be able to really make space for where our clients are at, even if we're not feeling the same way. We want to be able to make space for all of the not so savory things that our clients are feeling. In Sacred Depths, we call this skill honoring what is. And the skill of honoring what is just one subset of all of the creating awareness skills that you learn and master in Sacred Depths. Honoring what is helps your clients feel seen and heard. It also helps your clients feel and get more regulated. Now, there are definitely effective ways of honoring what is, as well as very ineffective ways of honoring what is. Because as you do this work of honoring what is, you don't want to come off as patronizing or as maybe inadvertently negative. You don't want to come off as diminishing the resources and the opportunity that a client does have in that moment, even in the face of all of the tough things that are going on. So, honoring what is going to look different for each client in any given moment, depending on who that client is and what their situation is. And you, as the coach, as the practitioner, you really want your skills around honoring what is to be in tip-top shape. Now, another thing to keep in mind around all of this, when you honor what is with a client, it sometimes means sitting in the shadows with your client versus only being in the positive. And I want to acknowledge that it might not always feel comfortable to sit in the shadows with others. But that being said, that's precisely what's required of us sometimes as transformational practitioners. So we want to really make sure that we're not bypassing where a client is because it makes us feel uncomfortable to be with them in it. And so, how do we get more and more comfortable with sitting in the shadows with others, with ourselves? Well, this is exactly why we consistently do so much inner work in Sacred Depths. You want to continue to do your inner work so that you can be comfortable with and lean into grief, sorrow, anger, fear, and beyond. Okay, so that was number two. Honor exactly where your clients are and don't bypass. A third principle or idea that I want you to consider for helping yourself and helping clients through difficult times is the next one. Give permission for the mess and for the mystery. So, here's what I mean by this. A lot of times, coaches and transformational practitioners want to tie sessions up in a neat bow. They want to, by the end of the session, have full clarity, have things figured out, and have things tied up. And I get that urge. And this is what we want for our clients for sure. And of course, this is appropriate for certain situations. But what we don't often talk about in coaching, and we need to talk about this more, is that in other situations, trying to tie a session up in a neat bow can really be a disservice to our client. When big things happen or difficult or tough things happen for a client or in their life, it's not always appropriate to process them in neat, structured ways. It's not always appropriate to come to a clear, quote unquote, learning and resolution about the situation by the end of one session. And when we try to push to try to tie things up neatly, then we may end up missing the more important nuances of a situation, or we may end up inadvertently cutting short the necessary amount of time that a client needs to sit in the not knowing or in the processing. I mean, I don't know about you, but there are certain situations that I've experienced that has taken a long time, right? Weeks to process, if not longer. Too often in our culture, and also in the coaching industry, There is the messaging that everything should be processed quickly. We should always be able to get to clarity right away. The clarity can happen in a linear way. But I can tell you, after working with so many clients, with so many humans for so many decades now, people are sometimes much messier than that. And certain situations call for something different. There is a time for clarity, but there is also sacred time for being in the mystery, for being in the not knowing. There is a time for neatness, for things just falling into place neatly, but there is also a sacred time for things to be messier. There is a time for things to work out in linear ways, but then there's also time for things to work out in more cyclical ways, right? So we want to give permission for the mess and the mystery and the cyclical nature that human beings move in. It is really the only authentic and empowering way to be with our clients. Okay, two more tips that I want to toss for you today on helping our clients through difficult times. Next one is pretty obvious, but just in case, remember to check in. So if you don't already have a habit of doing this, I recommend considering it to check in with clients in between sessions when they're going through a difficult moment, right? Let clients know in between sessions that you're there. Let them know that you're thinking about them. A short check-in can go such a long way to support a client in feeling loved and cherished and cared for, which in turn can help a client feel more grounded and also way more invested in the work that you're doing together and in your container together. For those of you that know me, especially for those of you that have been in programs with me, you know that no matter how many participants I have in a program, I approach everything with a high touch attitude. What that means is that I want to be in relationship with my clients, with my students, with my participants. I am going to check in with them, especially during difficult moments. Okay, and then the last tip for today on helping your clients in difficult times is the following. Learn how to re-strategize. So this requires your strategizing skills to be in tip-top shape. And the idea behind this is, we can put down the most well-laid plans, which we do with our clients, right? One of the things we do with our clients after we've helped them vision out their goals, their projects, is to help them strategize on those projects, right? And then to help them execute on those projects. However, even when we create the best of plans, sometimes life happens and those plans and those strategies need to be shifted, need to be tweaked. The best coaches and practitioners are the ones who recognize this and recognize the moments when a, it would best serve a client to re-strategize, right? Because there's a big thing happening in the world or in their world, or because their pace needs to change for a while, or their energy is different, or there are other things that they need to tend to. So, a strategy is not a monolithic thing in coaching. It is there as a guidepost, but sometimes it does need to change, right? So, look for when that's true for your clients and then re strategize with them. Okay. As we come to the end of this episode, here's what I want to say. We are all in the world right now, in one way or another, walking the mystery together. There is so much unknown, and there is some heartbreak globally, personally, but there is also so much beauty to be created. There's also so much community for us to foster. There's so many ways we can support our clients. There are so many inspiring words to be crafted. There are so many neighbors that we can help, family that we can love. And there is so much impact that we can make. Even in these difficult times, let's make the moment count. And if you want to accelerate your ability to make each moment count, to really meet all of your clients' needs, and to be the kind of coach or practitioner that people talk about in tough times and also in good times as the one who really helped them transform and who really helped them reach their goals. If you want all of this, then please check out the Sacred Depths Transformational Practitioner Certification and join us. We are starting very soon, and we have a couple of spots left, and I would love for one of those spots to be yours. Sacred Depths is a 10-month, no stone unturned training for really smart humans who want to go deep in your client work. It is for you if you want to be able to support your clients through any obstacles that come up. It is for you if you want to evolve deeply as a practitioner and also as a human being. And it is for you if you want to grow your business through ethical and effective marketing strategies, as well as organically through renewals and referrals and your stellar reputation. I'll put the link in the show notes. And of course, please share this podcast with anyone who you think would love it. And I can't wait to speak to you next time.